Let's start with our first news. Dana White has reacted to the Khamzat vs. Sean Strickland fight, and he appeared to side with the judges, even though many fans believed Khamzat was robbed. He explained that he scored the main event as 2-2 going into the final round, and believed that Sean Strickland edged the last round to secure the win. Strickland now holds major wins over Khamzat and Israel Adesanya at middleweight, and many are questioning just how far his unusual style can take him in the division. When asked about Strickland's place in the weight class, Dana White said it was incredible, praising his awkward style, toughness, durability, and his ability to never quit under pressure. He added that Strickland is one of those fighters who makes it extremely difficult for anyone to deal with his pace and unpredictability. Hours after the fight, Sean Strickland posted an image of his face with the caption "Best job in the world," showing his mindset after another big victory. As for what comes next, attention is already shifting toward a potential matchup with Imavov, which many believe is the logical next step for him. Meanwhile, Khamzat's situation leading into the fight also drew heavy discussion, with speculation around his weigh-in and the circumstances surrounding fight week adding more drama to the event. It was a night that once again highlighted Strickland's ability to outwork elite opposition, while also keeping Khamzat's performance under scrutiny among fans and analysts alike. Dana White's comments reflected a balanced view of the fight, acknowledging both Strickland's effectiveness and the ongoing debate surrounding the result, which continues to divide the MMA community. Attention now turns to matchmaking decisions that could shape the middleweight division moving forward in a highly competitive landscape soon. Move on to another news. Khamzat future has taken a dramatic turn, with serious questions emerging about his preparation, weight management, and possible overtraining issues alongside Arman and Khalil Roundtree. Reports suggested his fight camp had become increasingly intense, and concerns were raised that the extreme workload may have affected his performance and overall condition heading into fight week. The situation only became more confusing when Khamzat failed to appear for post-fight media moments as he walked out of the octagon during Sean Strickland's interview, leaving fans and analysts with more questions than answers. However, everything shifted during the post-fight press conference when Dana White delivered a major revelation that nobody expected. According to Dana White, Khamzat personally approached him right after the fight and made a shocking request. He stated that Khamzat told him directly, "I want to move up, I don't want to fight in this weight class anymore." This statement immediately changed the direction of the conversation around his career, as a potential move to the 205 division suddenly became a real possibility. Dana White described the moment as surprising but also exciting, suggesting that a move up in weight could open new opportunities for Khamzat and refresh his path inside the UFC. The idea of him competing at light heavyweight has already started generating major discussion across the MMA world, with fans debating how his explosive wrestling and pressure style would translate against bigger opponents in the division. On top of that, Dana White also addressed the weigh-in controversy surrounding Khamzat's fight week situation. He made it clear that the Athletic Commission is responsible for handling weigh-in procedures and related regulations, distancing the UFC from direct control over those decisions. This comment added another layer to an already chaotic fight week narrative. With uncertainty still surrounding his physical condition, training approach, and division future, Khamzat's next move remains one of the biggest talking points in MMA right now. The possibility of a full transition to light heavyweight has shifted expectations, while fans continue to speculate on what comes next for one of the sport's most unpredictable fighters. Move on to another news. Sean Strickland has openly called out Khamzat after accusing him of lying during their fight. He explained a key moment in the 5th round when he claims Khamzat pointed to the mat and suggested they give the people what they want, implying a standing exchange. According to Sean Strickland, he initially believed the gesture and trusted Khamzat in the moment despite earlier tension in the fight. He said that he even shook hands and accepted the suggestion, thinking it was genuine. However, Strickland says that immediately after he opened up, Khamzat shot for a takedown, which completely changed the situation against the cage. He described his frustration, saying he felt tricked in a high-stakes moment and admitted he was extremely angry, thinking he had trusted the wrong decision at the worst possible time. Strickland went further, stating that he believes Khamzat intentionally misled him during the exchange, calling it unsportsmanlike and not acceptable at elite-level competition. He admitted that emotions ran high in the cage and that he even yelled at himself out of frustration during the scramble, realizing how costly the moment could have been. According to Strickland, Khamzat even laughed after the exchange, which added to his anger and disappointment following the sequence. During the same press conference discussion, Strickland doubled down on his criticism, emphasizing that fighters should not give false signals in the middle of a fight regardless of respect or rivalry. He also reflected on how the moment impacted his performance, suggesting that split-second decisions can decide entire rounds and potentially fight. Strickland ended his remarks by reinforcing that while he respects Khamzat as a competitor, he does not agree with how that specific exchange unfolded inside the octagon. The incident has since sparked debate among fans about fight tactics and whether such feints or verbal cues are part of mind games or crossing a line in professional MMA, with analysts divided over the interpretation of the exchange. Some argue it is a normal part of high-level strategy, while others believe it undermines trust inside the cage. Sean Strickland maintained that he will learn from the moment, but insisted that he will not hesitate again in similar situations moving forward. He stated that his focus remains on improving and preparing for future fights while putting this controversy behind him in the sport of MMA competition. Move on to another news. Ilia reacted to Khamzat loss to Sean Strickland during a recent Instagram live, and given the history between all three men, fans immediately paid attention. Ilia and Khamzat have actually had a good relationship for years. The two trained together in Sweden in the past, shared mutual respect publicly, and were often seen positively around each other. Things got a little more tense recently after Khamzat responded to a post claiming Ilia submitted him in training, leaving a comment mocking Ilia's height and calling him short. Even then, though, the situation never turned hostile and both still maintained a professional relationship. At the same time, Ilia has had his own heated issues with Sean Strickland before. Sean made comments aimed at Khamzat's family and religion, and Ilia openly warned him about crossing those lines, explaining that in the Caucasus region people take those kinds of insults very seriously. Ilia has consistently shown that mentality to fans. Saw it again when he defended Alex Pereira during a press conference after Josh Hockett made comments involving Pereira's family. Alright, let's dive into what Ilia had to say, translated directly from Georgian. Khamzat, keep your head up, brother. You're a true warrior. What matters most is to never give up during the fight, and that's what you showed in that fight, the will to win. You've done great things in the sport, and you're still young. This is hard work and an obsession. That's it. As for Sean Strickland, even though I don't like the guy, he fought a good fight and won deservingly. Congratulations. Rematch will be interesting. Sean Strickland just unexpectedly went after Joe Rogan during a separate moment in the aftermath discussion. Fans noticed growing tension around post-fight media exchanges and reactions across social platforms. Many highlighted how the rivalry between Khamzat and Sean Strickland continues to dominate headlines even outside the octagon. Analysts also pointed out that Ilia's calm response adds another layer to the ongoing narrative in the middleweight division. While speculation continues about future matchups, training adjustments, and potential rematches, the MMA world remains focused on how each fighter responds moving forward, especially after such a controversial and emotional fight night that left fans divided but fully engaged in every detail surrounding the aftermath. The story is still unfolding across the MMA community today, with more updates expected soon. Move on to another news. Khamzat is now facing some absolutely wild accusations following his loss at UFC 328. Before anything else, these are still only allegations, and nothing has been proven. Everyone involved is considered innocent until proven guilty, but the claims now spreading online are seriously shocking and have sparked massive backlash across the MMA world. According to multiple reports, Khamzat was allegedly involved in the kidnapping of a 17-year-old girl in Chechnya to become his second wife. The accusations exploded online just days before the fight and quickly became one of the biggest talking points surrounding the event. Reports from a Chechen dissident group claimed that the situation involved pressure, secrecy, and connections to powerful figures in the region. The reports also stated that Khamzat allegedly had close ties with the teenage sons of Ramzan Kadyrov. Sources claimed that a wedding ceremony supposedly took place on January 11th in the village of Elistanzi, where the young girl was reportedly forced into marriage. Again, these are only accusations, and there is currently no official confirmation proving any of the claims true. One of the most disturbing parts of the report alleged that, just days before the ceremony, the girl was supposedly kidnapped by friends connected to Khamzat after she had caught the fighter's attention. The story then claimed that Khamzat allegedly rushed to seek advice from powerful figures in Chechnya regarding the situation. According to the report, he was instructed to proceed with the ceremony as quietly and secretly as possible. As expected, social media immediately erupted after the accusations surfaced. Fans were left divided, with some completely shocked by the claims, while others warned people not to jump to conclusions without verified evidence. The MMA community quickly became flooded with debates, reactions, and discussions about whether the allegations were believable or simply unverified rumors spreading online. No official legal findings have been announced, and there has been no confirmed evidence publicly released to support the accusations at this time. Still, the controversy surrounding Khamzat has now become one of the biggest stories in MMA, completely overshadowing the fight itself and sending the combat sports world into total chaos. Move on to another news. Sean Strickland is now going off on Joe Rogan following his massive title win at UFC 328. The tension between the two apparently started long before the fight even happened. During the build-up to the event, there was heavy debate throughout the MMA community about whether Strickland truly deserved another shot at the belt. A lot of fans believe the opportunity should have gone to another contender, especially considering Strickland had already received 3 previous title shots. Critics argued that this 4th opportunity came after only a single win, while other fighters in the division had been building much longer winning streaks against top competition. One name constantly brought into the conversation was Nurmagomedov, who many people believed had earned the title opportunity through multiple impressive victories. Joe Rogan was one of the voices questioning the matchup. During discussions leading into UFC 328, Rogan reportedly pointed out that Strickland's path back to the title seemed unusually quick compared to other contenders waiting in line. While Rogan never appeared to make the criticism personal, the comments clearly stayed in Strickland's mind throughout fight week. After shocking everyone and reclaiming the championship, Strickland wasted absolutely no time firing back. Instead of celebrating quietly, he directly called out Rogan during an emotional rant that instantly exploded across social media. Strickland made it crystal clear that he felt disrespected by the constant doubts surrounding his title shot and wanted everyone to know he had proven the critics wrong inside the cage. In his now viral comments, Strickland aggressively responded to Rogan's earlier criticism and accused him of talking nonsense about his career. The champion even joked about wanting to slap Rogan across the face for questioning whether he deserved to compete for the belt. The comments were intense, chaotic, and exactly the kind of unpredictable reaction fans have come to expect from Strickland over the years. The MMA world immediately erupted after the interview clip started circulating online. Some fans supported Strickland completely, saying he had every right to respond after proving himself in dominant fashion. Others believed he took the comments too personally and went way over the line with his reaction toward Rogan. Meanwhile, another major storyline is already developing in the flyweight division. Joshua Van has now officially confirmed that Alexander Pantoja is expected to be next following his impressive knockout victory over Tatsuro Taira, setting up yet another massive fight for UFC fans to look forward to. Move on to another news. Joshua Van has now officially confirmed that Alexander Pantoja is next following his huge knockout victory over Tatsuro Taira. The flyweight champion delivered another statement performance at UFC 328 and continued what has already become one of the most impressive rises in the division. Taira actually started the fight very strong and gave the champion real problems early on. His speed, movement, and pressure tested Joshua Van during the opening rounds, and for a moment it looked like the challenger might pull off the upset. But as the fight continued, Van slowly began taking control with his sharp boxing, cleaner combinations, and relentless pressure. Round by round, the momentum completely shifted. Van's timing became too much for Taira to handle, and the volume of strikes started breaking him down physically and mentally. Every exchange seemed to favor the champion more and more until the fight finally ended with a decisive finish that sent the crowd into complete chaos. What makes the story even crazier is how quickly Joshua Van has climbed to the top. In only 3 years inside the UFC, the 24-year-old has already built an incredible 10 UFC wins, a flyweight championship, and now a successful title defense against another dangerous contender. At this pace, many fans already believe Van is becoming one of the most active and exciting champions in the entire organization. Now, all attention turns toward a massive rematch with Alexander Pantoja. The rivalry between the two fighters clearly still has tension behind it, especially after Van addressed Pantoja directly during his post-fight comments. Van explained that he never personally hated Pantoja and even respected him after their previous fight. According to Van, Pantoja was respectful in person and even apologized afterward. But things apparently changed once interviews started coming out publicly. Van claimed that Pantoja began talking negatively about him in the media and tried to paint him as the villain in the situation. Van sounded frustrated while explaining that he still greeted Pantoja respectfully backstage and shook his hand without any problems. However, he made it clear he did not appreciate the stories and comments being pushed publicly after their first fight. Van also referenced Pantoja's hand injury from their previous matchup, saying injuries are simply part of fighting and should not become excuses afterward. The rematch is now shaping up to be one of the biggest flyweight fights possible, with tension, history, and championship stakes making this showdown absolutely massive for the division.